With each brushstroke, we will watch this canvas come to life throughout tonight's event. She's a brilliant artist, a breast cancer survivor, and really a joy to work with on this collaboration. You can see more of Alicia Malta's creations by visiting her Instagram page. The handle's on your screen now, so take a look. We chose today's theme for a reason. Our lives are like a blank canvas. Our experience is really adding color and depth as we go along. For some generous folks, the final touch on their piece of art of life is really adding a bright color to someone else's health battles or life struggles. So we ask you, what color would you choose to give life and healing to others if you could imagine it as a color? Maybe it's all of the colors combined, or just a touch of white, maybe a bright orange, really showing how hope could look on an otherwise murky canvas. The loved ones you, the donor families, have lost are exactly that for 106,000 people on the National Organ Waiting List, or for people in need of healing through tissue donation, for example. Even restored vision so that they can see all the colors in the world crystal clear once again. Tonight we're at Brightside Studios in Central Phoenix. Their team really has been a bright spot for us planning this event. The Brightside team has generously shared their space with us to help honor you and your loved ones tonight. We're surrounded by all types of color here, both muted and vivid, and we really hope that these hues help us embrace you virtually with 2021 Arizona Organ tissue donors in our hearts and our mind. So thank you for being here. Brightside Studios se traduce en lado brillante o lado positivo. Realmente nos parece brillante su forma de apoyar a artistas locales y a nosotros con compartir este espacio para honrar a sus seres queridos como los héroes que son. De vez en cuando, durante este evento, nos vamos a fijar en el desarrollo de este cuadro mientras Alicia Malta trabaje. Ella sabe de primera mano cómo es enfrentar la posibilidad de su propia muerte como sobreviviente. Le diagnosticaron con cáncer en 2019 y ahora, como bien pueden ver, se le ha vuelto a crecer el cabello. Con su salud renovada, ella comparte su don de manipular el color con nosotros esta noche para interpretar lo que significa compartir la vida. La pueden seguir en Instagram, aquí su usuario y unas muestras de su labor de amor. La metáfora del lienzo es que todos llegamos a este mundo con el cuadro en blanco. La vida llena de oportunidades y a veces circunstancias no tan buenas. Y en la vida los colores tienen su significado. El rojo, por ejemplo, comunica algo urgente o una emergencia. Ahora el azul celeste nos da paz, tranquilidad. Para un beneficiado de hígado arizonense, el color amarillo le sirvió como un aviso. Seguimos con su historia. For one Arizona recipient, the color yellow was a warning. Adam Kurth's entire body jaundiced, his liver failing while he was still a high school student. Now 21 years old, a little more than 2 years since his transplant surgery, he lives every day with gratitude for organ and tissue donors and their families.
In algebra class, he just gave me a note, slid me a note, said go to the nurse, and I was feeling totally fine. I looked just yellow. My friend pointed out my yellow eyes, which is a signature of liver disease. That was pretty scary. And then I started turning yellow, like jaundice. I played lacrosse. I was a lifeguard, and then I had to stop because of my health. The lymphoma was hidden from the scans. I already had it, and that's probably what caused PSC, but they don't know. This time of 2020, I was bald and going through cancer treatment. I felt very isolated. They would call me Big Bird. That was not exactly a good feeling. It was my mom coming in almost every day My dad came in to switch out. No one else can see me, not even my friends. For chemo, it was nobody. I had to see my friends in a giant circle with masks on. I probably wouldn't be as, okay as I am right now without my family. Emotionally, definitely, because I going through all of that alone and having, no one really there for you. I don't know. I just, my family would really help me get through it. I was in the hospital, I was reading, and I was doing, math problems, and I just wanted to get good at something that I wasn't good at before. Now I'm at ASU for math. That's what helped me, at the very rock bottom. I don't know how this donation was brought about. Like, it really was a beam of hope, honestly. It saved my life. It really did. If I didn't have that donation, I would be someone else, still in a hospital probably. So I really, really, really admire their donation.
Memento mori. Adam's own body is now a canvas of sorts. He had this Latin phrase inked permanently across his chest when he was still waiting for a liver transplant. Among all his other health battles, Adam told us of another scary moment. He says, "During one of my hospital visits, very late at night, I blacked out and hit my head. I was unconscious for about 15 minutes. I thought these were my last moments. This event pointed me into deep reflection, and I turned to Buddhism and Stoicism. I learned how to cope with movement and turmoil in my life through meditation, and learned how to keep perspective using Stoicism. The teaching of meditation on mortality became known as memento mori. In other words, remember your own mortality. In memory of that late night at the hospital, I got this tattoo when I turned 18. Memento mori, to me, means to be persistent throughout your life and never waste your life, for your time is limited." Thank you, Adam, so much for sharing your story and taking the time to be with us tonight to express your gratitude for the gift of life you received. You are but one example of so many people whose lives have been touched, saved, and healed by the generosity of donors and donor families like those with us tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ramos, Manager for Donor Family and Advocate Services at Donor Network of Arizona. It has been my great pleasure to write to you over this past year and express our most humble gratitude for your and your loved ones' generosity. I want to thank you all who are joining us this evening. There is something so special about being among such a generous group of people, all from varied backgrounds, all with your own unique life canvas, yet all with one thing in common. In your darkest hour, when the circumstances you found yourself in made no sense, when you had no clear answers, when you had no control over the moment, in fact, when your life's canvas was a complete blur, you chose to pick up the canvas of your loved one, bring it into focus, reframe it, and give it new purpose. By embracing donation, your loved one's decision or your family's decision to donate, in fact, highlighted all that is beautiful and generous. In doing so, your loved one's gift of life became the magnificent brushstroke on the life canvas of others, giving them life, light, and color, allowing them to display a renewed life and hope. On behalf of all the recipients whose lives have been touched by your kindness, we say thank you. I would now like to introduce you to Melissa Garza and Joey Estrada. They are the proud parents of Gloria Christine Estrada, who at age 25 was taken from us too soon. When I heard the story of Gloria, or Mimas, as her family lovingly called her, I couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the beautiful picture of compassion and generosity that she was. Gloria's life canvas was full of color and light and possibility. Her tragic passing in May of this year was unexpected and in so many ways unexplainable. However, in their darkest of moments, the one question her parents did have a clear answer to was the question of donation. Gloria's tragic passing shows us that we can't always control the twists and the turns, the lines and the brushstrokes that create our canvas of life. Sometimes our canvas is just as we had planned. It's full of color, life, and joy. Other times, life colors outside the lines. However, Gloria, her family, and all of you have shown that we can control the way others ultimately view our final masterpiece and the way we will be remembered.
The morning of her 25th birthday that she called me and she wasn't feeling well. She had just got to work. The paramedics got there and said, "You're just having a panic attack." By the time we got her to the hospital, she was unconscious. Nobody really knew what was happening. We didn't find out until that evening that she had suffered multiple massive strokes and then there wasn't going to be any recovering from it. It was a lot of being unsure. Even when we saw her here, she seemed to have a stroke here at home.
Now that we look back on it, we have all that information. We're able to determine like she was stroking in front of us. It was different.
1 month earlier, her father passed from the exact same thing, from strokes. So we were fresh. It was very fresh with us, his whole experience in the hospital, what we learned from the doctors.
Making decisions for his quality of life,
Yeah, we knew that there was
no recovery. There's no coming back from
possibility.
Her Eiffel Tower. So this is a lot of her stuff that she has. She has the Minions, Eiffel Tower. The nurse was so kind enough to give us her heart rate. So she put that in a bottle with a few feathers. It has a little story behind the feathers about angels.
She had really been complaining about a lot of neck pain all that morning. She said her neck had been hurting for days, so they went ahead and did an MRI of that area and found that she had a Chiari malformation. We don't know if it's hereditary. We don't know if our other kids could be affected. So
it's so unfair. You know, she was pretty healthy. And this is, I think, why they weren't able to determine what was going on with her, because she's 25 and they just couldn't.
No negative medical history.
Right.
There was nothing to point to.
She was so young. Her life was just starting. She was in school. She was getting her bachelor's in human resources. She was super independent, started to travel a bit, and she was just getting started with life. So she was just taken from us too soon.
Gloria was always a giver. Like when it came to giving birthday presents, Christmas presents, just she always had the right thing.
Gloria was a registered organ donor since she turned 18. She was just a giver. Like, she put others before her.
And it was important to me because it just seems so random and so rare for a 25-year-old woman to die from stroke. So I wanted there to be some good that came from it.
I remember having a conversation here about you. You know, we talked about like the afterlife. What do you want to happen to you after you die? And we've had those conversations, which is, you don't have those with our parents, right? Our parents don't have kind of those conversations, but you know, I think this is just next generation. We're very open to having those conversations, and we did. And you brought up how you want your body donated to science.
Right.
And I think that struck a chord. It's like, of course, that makes sense. You know, why wouldn't we? her room was just so busy. Like it was just constant, I don't know, just stimulation, like people in and out of her room. So the next day, Friday, and then it was just mom and dad in the room with her for the next 3 days because she lasted till Sunday. And for me, I say she didn't go within the first 90 minutes because she didn't live here anymore. She was on her own. And she just wanted some extra time with mom and dad. So it was just us three in the room from Thursday evening through Sunday morning. And she just wasn't ready. She just wanted to spend more time with us, and we were okay with that.
Yes.
Her hair was way past her butt. After she passed, I put it in braids so it's easier to cut. So her nurse did come back when Gloria passed, and I just gave her that task to cut her hair. We didn't want to see her without her hair.
Right. Because there was a lot of really good hair.
Yeah.
So again, somebody could benefit from that.
And she's done it before. So Gloria had grew her hair out, and then she ended up cutting it to donate. So it just goes with who she was.
Right.
She had this light that just shined, and she just touched so many people's lives just by the friendship and relationship she built with them. And just to be able to see that at her honor walk at the hospital when we decided, to have that, it took my breath away. Like I was just speechless just to see how many people did show up for her.
Even during her service, we talked about donation, and
We brought that up.
because it was a large service, and I wanted everyone there to know about Gloria's continued gifts. So this was our way for Gloria to continue that. So, a recipient would be getting a piece of just a giver. So if that same gift could be passed forward, definitely should be considered.
Her favorite color was purple. And May's, that happens to be Stroke Awareness Month, and their color is purple. So I always just think of those ties.
Even though it's really hard and it's really sad, there is a future that can still come from it. There can be good from terrible situations.
That's where, we're finding our peace, knowing that she has helped and will help so many.
Connecting with donor families and the public in general supports our mission by keeping donor stories alive and encouraging all Arizonans to register as donors. Sponsors adding a splash of color for this moment dedicated to Arizona donor heroes are PNC Bank, Artivion, RTI Donor Services, Organ Recovery Systems, and Triad West. And this year's presenting sponsor is one of Arizona's transplant centers, Mayo Clinic Hospital, where they have transplant care down to an art.
Hi, my name is Caroline Jadlowick, and I'm a transplant surgeon here at Mayo Clinic in Arizona. As one of the largest transplant centers in the country, we consider ourselves very fortunate to be a part of this process. In this special moment, we would like to take an opportunity to thank our donors and their families for their generous gift. It is really difficult to quantify the meaning behind the gift of donation. However, it is an opportunity at a second chance of life that really crosses all demographic boundaries. Without our donors and their generous gift, we would not be able to do what we do. And on behalf of our transplant center here at Mayo Clinic in Arizona, as well as our patients, we would like to say thank you.
Tenemos una gran colaboración con Mayo Clinic para realizar el regalo de la vida. Gracias a su equipo por su apoyo continuo. Y gracias a ustedes por estar con nosotros hoy. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Alberto y yo formo parte del equipo de cuidado familiar en un papel bilingüe. Es un honor poder apoyar a nuestra comunidad hispana. Esperamos que este momento juntos contribuya a elevarlos, estén donde estén. Nos gustaría darles primero las gracias y decirles que seguimos recordándolos y a sus seres amados. Todos ustedes nos han mostrado la belleza de la generosidad. En mis reflexiones, al pensar en el tema de este evento, lienzo de vida, y de lo que yo he aprendido de ustedes, me acordé de algo que una vez escuché, lo que ahora quiero compartir. Dicen que el arte y la belleza no se crean, sino que se permiten. El arte y la belleza existen dentro de todos nosotros y su expresión se comparte con los demás cuando permitimos que fluya desde nuestros corazones hacia los demás. Del mismo modo, yo creo que el amor y la generosidad tampoco se crean. Siempre han sido rasgos definitorios de su ser querido y de ustedes mismos, que tan amablemente han permitido que fluyan hacia los demás. Esa vulnerabilidad puede dar miedo, pero en la red de donantes creemos que es una gran fuerza el hecho de amar, incluso en su peor momento. De todo corazón les damos las gracias. Muchas veces pensamos en un lienzo en blanco como algo vacío, apagado, sin expresión, pero también está lleno de posibilidades. El lienzo reposa pacientemente a la espera de que el pintor salga a su encuentro, no para convertirse en algo propio, sino para reflejar lo que hay dentro del pintor. El lienzo lleva con él la belleza del artista. Del mismo modo, nuestras familias beneficiadas llevan con ellas la belleza de su bondad y el regalo de vida que dieron sus seres queridos. Ese es el lienzo de vida al que todos ustedes han contribuido, uno de humanidad y de amor. Quisiera tener solo las palabras más hermosas para ofrecerles un poco de consuelo. No están solos. Estamos muy agradecidos por su bondad. Me gustaría dejarlos con esto. Ustedes nos dan el poder de continuar con nuestra misión de salvar y sanar vidas y aportar luz y color a acontecimientos devastadores. Sus historias, las de sus seres queridos y los legados que han creado, han tenido un impacto monumental en todas nuestras vidas. Muchísimas gracias. Ahora ha llegado el momento de honrar a los donantes arizonenses del año 2021 con el permiso de las familias donantes, empezando con el estreno del cuadro que nuestra artista Alicia Malta ha llenado de color con ustedes en su corazón. Y a continuación veremos juntos los nombres aquí, en su pantalla, en orden alfabético, de acuerdo con su apellido.
Thank you, Albert, for sharing your message in the beauty of another language. At this time, we're going to see how tonight's canvas is coming to life under the hands of our artists. Then we'll blend right into the 2021 Organ, Eye, and Tissue Donor Name Tribute of donor families who gave us permission, and those names will appear in alphabetical order by last name.
I was blown away, honestly. I was so excited to do this. So going through my own medical issues, that was really inspiring for me to be part of something so big. I actually went through breast cancer. 2019, I was diagnosed. Remission for about 2.5 years now. Almost feeling like your body is failing you or attacking itself. And I really felt like my body was pushed to its brink during that time. It was life-changing for sure. But it also pushed me towards art. This painting represents beauty arising from pain. I titled it What Arises? Love kind of arising from heartache, beauty from pain, delicate from the hard and difficult. Good things can come from difficult situations. I lost my mother also when I was 25. That was a really difficult process. It really made me savor my life.
My name is Tim Brown, and I'm President and CEO of Donor Network of Arizona. Seeing the names of the Arizonans who brighten other people's worlds through sharing life continue to inspire my team and keep doing this meaningful work. If you think about the canvas of each of our lives, we know that sometimes there are parts that aren't easy to look at. That may be the loss of a loved one. We also know that donation cannot fix a donor family's grief. At the same time, we hope it shapes how you look at your final touches of your loved one's life, because they gave something without getting anything in return. Some of our paint for their canvas is adding bright color to someone else's life every day. When someone's life is cut short, we often struggle to understand why their lives were incomplete. But after donation, the legacy of your loved one lives on through other people who got their second chance. Without their generosity, that would never be possible. Their bright colors in those waiting for a second chance at life would be so dull, and their struggles would continue, or even in their lives. So we're honored to share this virtual space with you today, and grateful for your loved one's decision, or your family's decision to give life so generously to others. If you missed your loved one's name, we'll show the name tribute once more at the end of this video. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.